Hey, yo, Kenosha Kings. Wanted to check in and get you guys some information. Repping your boys and your boys. You got your boy Bombalis about to have maybe the biggest journey of his life in the next couple days here. It'll be really interesting to see. I hope you guys are watching on Flow Sports and watching the Wild Things Quebec Finals. A bunch of your guys that have been through Kenosha before, finished the season in the playoffs. Randall Reith, the guys that finished in the American Association with Gary. There are guys playing all over the place. I give you guys a lot of credit for the back-to-back title, for the grind, for everything you guys did, for the guys that came from all over the country to make it happen. Kenosha really is becoming like a special thing for 2 years in a row to win it, but the winning not so much as the promoting players, signing guys, and just continuing to do good things. Billy Lanford, Luke Jackson, Joel, those guys really took a handle on things this year, taking it from Randall Reith and Frank Podgel and those guys in the past. So I've got to give you a lot of credit. In the last couple of years, there's been some really tough injuries. Guys like Rigsby, guys like Lewis, dudes going down, and then also having, pitchers that we thought we'd have that we ended up not having, getting hurt along the way. And but for the amount of guys that got promoted and got jobs and did things and the right thing out of that, between, the Cahigases and the Herds and the guys just getting the line that they needed, but then also the guys like, Penzetta and Rodriguez and Cooper to finish the season with Gary, and Brandon Erb to get into college there. He thought his baseball career was over. He said we saved his baseball career after the California Winter League. So just wanted to get this out to you guys. We're going to do kind of a different lock-in process here for Kenosha. We got to change it up with the amount of coaches and the amount of, the bills for the field, really, and some of the things. So we're about to do things differently. We're going to give you guys, as always, the first bid if you can do it up. What we're asking for, so we can get settled pretty early, what we're going to do between Kenosha and the Sox this year is it's going to be 80 spots, 40 and 40. 40-man roster on each side. Only if we can build another team to play games like in another setting, or like add them to the league, would be the only way to do more than the 40 and 40. And we're going to cap it at 40, and we're not going to replace the guys. So we could go as low as like each team could have 15 guys left. As long as you have what you need to do the season, we're going to let those guys play it out for the price that we're going to do. For some of the returning guys, what we want to do is do the same deal or better a little bit, or the same really if we can. Whatever you've been in at this year and last year, or just this year, grandfather it in and keep it the same. Billy wants to add, and I want to add. I'm going to do a bunch of mentorship stuff. Billy's going to do it as well. But, we are going to do it's going to be about a $2,000 program where you guys can do off-day workouts and have mentorship sessions with Billy that include everything. It would obviously include the tour games in that area if you lock in all the Chicago tour games, so you know where you're playing for the tour. Unless you don't want to, or you got to be other places. But we're going to allow you guys first, if you want, to have the dibs on that program. He only wants to do about 15, 20 of the 40 guys in that program, so it's not going to be the entire 40 guys. So and then also let you guys get in at the price that you were in last year if you just want to play for that. So you have the option for the mentorship thing if you have questions and you want to ask. I know we're going to do one in the spring also down here up until we leave for the tour, and then do one in season for the Kenosha guys. And I think he's going to do something for the New Jersey guys virtually as well. It's going to include, weekly Zoom meetings. It's going to include homework. It's going to include financial stuff. It's going to include life planning and the planning you really need to have, in your life, which should relate exactly to baseball for you if that's the case. That's exactly what we're doing. We're in the business of baseball, but you're in the business of all the other things that you're trying to accomplish, and there's really nobody better to learn from than Billy Lanford. Really has a handle on those things in his life. You can learn a lot from that guy. I know that Luke, and I know that Reith, and I know the guys that have been around him have gotten what they've gotten, but those mentorship programs we're going to kick into effect in the fall and the spring. But for just the guys that want to play again, we're going to ask for 100 before the fall, if possible, or before October if you can. And then the remainder, like if you were a 750 guy, 100, and then 650 before the winter starts, which is 12/21, December 21st. So you'd have like the entire fall to raise whatever money Obviously, the earlier the better. I want to get guys' names on rosters. I want to announce who exactly that we have. Right now, because it is what it is. It's going to be Billy. It's going to be Joel. It's going to be Luke Jackson, and that's it. Because we got to pay the bills in this thing. So as much as we'd love to just have everybody back, I mean, this team that finished right here, if these guys all come back, it's only 3, 7, 9, 10. It's only 20 guys. You can add 20. But you got to realize with that, we're going to be doing extra games, off-day stuff, traveling around. We are going to do a travel circuit like we did this year where a bunch of guys took off on June 17th or whatever to go to that Troy workout. And we're going to have those guys go to Jersey. We're going to have the Jersey guys go to Chicago. And we're going to have probably do some stuff in between there because I think guys really need to do that travel and exposure and learn, especially if they're joining us at Kenosha and they haven't done the tour. That might be a good group to stay in Kenosha and play, and then some of the guys that need to go get the exposure that are closer to getting signed maybe need to leave. And we made the right decisions, I think, this year where guys left, Cahigas left and did what he did, and then left even us at the right time and did what he did. We got bounced from the playoffs, and he finished the season in Gary. So, that's exactly what is supposed to happen. There's some really hard decisions this year as to who gets signed and who gets picked and goes where and whose names get put in. So, there's so much stock in what you guys do and what you guys did with this team. I have to tell you. And by the way, I was wrong. You didn't finish with just the 20. If I take off from it looks like Selden up, you have 29. So my bad. 11 spots if everybody returns, which I would love if everybody returned because this team of Chang coming up and doing what he did and Herb doing what he did in those moments and Splash having his moments that he had and Devontae Glenn really playing the hell out of a role and Colin Jensen becoming a player in this and getting some interest from some Atlantic League teams along the way. Jared Bouge, definitely next guy up candidate. He's in the top, 5, 10 in his position depending what they're looking at. Guys like Pahilo went through a bunch of injuries up and down and dealt with so many different things and just battled and really probably was a great veteran presence to have around along with, the guys with some experience like Skillman and Stelmack and some of those guys, they do have some feel. They've been around for a while. Brandon Jeffrey, and then the pitchers that came from the outside, the Dickey, the Crespo, the Randy on, all those guys, Joel Perry. It really is a combined effort. Everybody, I could say every name in there, Mercier, Whitbeck, Ortiz, everybody it really is a group effort of combined local guys and those guys. Conzemius comes in and throws his innings and does well for us, becomes the next guy up lefty. The ball's in his court. If Conzemius sticks around and wants to play, likely getting signed. If guys go venture off and do whatever, you never know what's going to happen. You can't control everything, but really, eyes on him for what he did. Eyes on Bradley Burdett for what he did. Eyes on Zach Lee for going in there and catching all those games and being a warrior. I was trying to get Zach Lee a job up and through this week here, hoping that something went down and he was able to grab an opportunity. But to watch the Josiah Devalopans come through and bang and do some things in some big moments and play a role and grow as a player, to watch Bokino and Bacon come in and do their thing, the Killer Bees right there. Those guys really added a boost. They really added a supply that we needed. Especially when we lost Lewis and some other guys got signed along the way. A bunch of guys got signed. When dudes are getting signed and leaving your team, you lose Procopio in the middle of it. You lose Hurd leaves for a week. All these guys just take this trip. They disappear. Now the pressure's on. You lose Cahigas. You're down to one catcher for like 2 weeks. That's exactly what I want guys to go through. That's exactly what managers want you to go through. That's what everybody wants you to deal with so that we can say, okay, Bouge is up there. All right, Jensen got some traction. Okay, Hurd needs more next year. Bokino and Bacon, they do really good. Next guy up type of guys, and they're still doing it down here. You got to give them a lot of credit, man. They traveled and they did it. So, you have those guys, and then you also have the guys that helped you the year before. The McDades and the MacArthurs, and those guys played that got promoted. And those dudes, still considered part of us for 2 seasons, and guys we want to help and guys we want to move on. I think you really see the end reward there when you get Sam Splash signed, almost post deadline everywhere. He signs in the Pioneer League and signs with Ogden, and that's, the guy said, the manager said directly, this is exactly what your guys are all about. I needed a guy, you got him immediately, so 80 spots next summer. get your deposits in. We'd love to have you guys back. If not, also let me know so we can start to open up and look at the different positions and dynamics that we're going to need. Definitely going to be grabbing more catchers. You can never have enough. Definitely going to grab some arms, but we'd like to keep the same core for the amount of games, but also adding the games and doing all those things. If you're a same price guy, you still get that. You get as much as we can give you. That's what it is. It's Wu-Tang. What you give to us, we'll give back to you, and you guys are giving me 2 championships and help me sign 25 plus guys along the way in 2 seasons, taking over a team that won 3 games a few years ago and was basically going to cash it in. But we do have some bills to pay, so we are going to get on it. We are going to stick to the dates. We are going to post the dates. You guys do your due diligence. Hit me up if you need. We can wrap about the season. I got another week before we start this rookie camp, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Kenosha boys.